a mystical force took a man to the other side right before his wedding. Where did the deadly evil force come from? Don't miss out. The psychics will reveal a real city of the dead. Welcome to Psychic Investigations, a project of true and shocking stories. Here, people who call themselves clairvoyants investigate mysterious paranormal phenomena and high-profile criminal cases. Tetiana is 29. She lives in a small Ukrainian town and works as a kindergarten teacher. And this is Sasha, Tetiana's high school sweetheart. Life took them in different directions after graduation, and they went to study at opposite ends of the country to pursue higher education.
I was the one who initiated the breakup.
Tetiana and Sasha didn't see each other for years. During this period, they both entered into marriage and bore children. However, 2 years ago, after she divorced her husband, Tetiana came back home with her daughter. There, she ran into Sasha, who was also single by then. The old affection was rekindled.
He said he had no meaning in life before our reunion. He said, "I don't understand why I'm so lucky to have you again."
Sasha had a special way with children. When Tetiana introduced him to Lisa, she took to him immediately.
The little girl even started calling Sasha Dad. Soon after, Tetiana discovered she was pregnant and was overjoyed. The couple decided to formalize their union and marry. But 2 weeks before the wedding, the man suddenly passed away.
On that day, I went to the city to pick up my wedding dress. I received 150 calls from him. He urged me to come home quickly, saying we would go fishing together.
Tetiana took the dress and went back home. After the lunch, the couple and their friends went to the local pond, and something absolutely odd started happening from that moment on.
He warned us all, "Don't even think about jumping after me."
Having warned everyone about the danger, the man then dove into the pond himself.
He gently rubbed Tetiana's belly and then jumped in.
What happened next remains a mystery to date. The friends say it looked like some kind of invisible force pulled him into the heart of the danger.
Then I turned around and saw his back.
It was a shock. Sasha dove into the pond, but didn't re-emerge for a few minutes. When his friends rushed to help and pulled him out, he was already dead.
I couldn't believe it. I hoped he would open his eyes.
The man broke his neck, and death was instantaneous, and his pregnant fiancée witnessed it all firsthand.
Everyone was shocked. Tetiana started screaming.
Tetiana lost the love of her life. Just weeks before the tragedy, the couple learned they were expecting a son. Thus, the boy became half-orphaned before even being born. And after the funeral, strange things started happening to the pregnant woman.
I had a wooden cross on a string around my neck. One morning, as I was washing up, but the string snapped and it fell off.
Tetiana thought it was an ominous sign. Whether it was a coincidence or not, at Sasha's memorial service, she nearly lost her life herself.
After the service, we were driving home from the church when a wheel fell off.
The car veered off the road into the ditch. Tetiana miraculously survived, but soon found herself again on the brink of death.
As we were leaving the store, a car came out of nowhere and almost hit me.
Last year, in September, Tetiana gave birth. The labor was hard, and she lost a lot of blood and barely survived. The doctors made an incredible effort to save her, and less than a month later, she ended up in the intensive care unit again. During the baptism of her son in the church, Tetiana experienced anaphylactic shock.
It happened while the boy was being baptized. I had a severe allergic reaction to a wasp sting.
There were many people there, but only she has a severe allergy, and she was the only one stung by a wasp.
Within minutes, Tetiana's throat swelled up. She started struggling to breathe and passed out.
They rushed me to the hospital and gave me an injection just in time. Otherwise,
Only God knows what would have happened.
Tetiana didn't dwell on why so much misfortune was befalling her until she saw her deceased husband at home.
got up in the middle of the night for a drink of water, and then I had the feeling that he was standing next to me. When I looked, I saw a shadow.
Tetiana rose in terror, thinking why she was seeing her deceased man. Was she going crazy? Was her deceased fiancé trying to take her to the other side? The young mother is desperate. She feared for her life. Even more, she fears that her little son might become an orphan. The psychics are her only hope of protecting herself from death.
I am terrified, and I really want them to come and help me.
At Tetiana's request, clairvoyant Yaroslava Fedorova agreed to help. When we showed the psychic Tetiana's photo, her vision shocked us.
For 3 nights in a row, I've been having nightmares. A murky, dirty, large stream of water, and in it, a coffin. In that coffin, there's a girl in a wedding dress, and she really looks like the one in this photo. Then, the ground starts cracking under my feet, and I find myself falling into another world. And there, everyone is dead and walks the streets like zombies. It's like a city of the dead.
Another psychic, Larisa Hutsanu, also had shocking visions.
I see a man from behind. He's running through the forest. He's terrified. And a crowd of people is chasing him. They're very strange. I see a woman without a head, and a man with his head split in half, and another man, as black as coal. They all want something from him. This running man.
But how are these terrifying visions connected to the constant threats to Tetiana's life?
Hello, come in, please.
Hello.
Let's go over there.
I have a feeling that I'm walking into a thick and sticky spider web.
And my ears pop.
Oh my! Ammonia! Bring the ammonia! The driver should have it in his first aid kit.
The psychic faints as soon as she enters the yard.
Give me your hand.
Yaroslava, wait. I felt cold hands on my neck, choking me. It was something from the other side. The entity was very aggressive. It was warning me to stay away from this house. I can't even stand. It's pulling me down to the ground. And I sense that someone has already mentioned it too.
Yes, my fiancé also said so. One night, I woke up to his screams. I couldn't wake him up. With great effort, he woke up. I asked him what he was dreaming about. He said something black grabbed him by the neck and was pulling him.
The psychics decide to check the energy inside the house.
A supernatural force resides here, like a spider spinning a web of energy throughout the rooms and hiding in wait. You have a child. He's just a baby.
Yes.
Little Oleksiy is sleeping now. While his mom talks to the psychics, his grandparents are watching over the boy.
Let's go see the yard. Sasha, I sense a sudden, violent death.
He loved and knew these places. He always said, "You have to be careful with water."
I feel like he had a previous experience with water.
Yes, it's true.
Did he fall into it? I sense he had an injury.
He had a back injury. His friend accidentally knocked him into the water. They barely saved him. After that, he spent 2 weeks in bed.
Well, he had sound reasons to warn you about the water. Then why, after all he'd been through, did Sasha so recklessly dive into the water again? Was some mystical force pushing him to his death?
We need to see the place where it happened.
Then I'll go with you. Mom will look after Oleksiy. May 24th was the last time I was here with my husband. I haven't been back since that incident.
Let me work here.
I see some kind of energy vortexes on the surface. There have been other deaths here.
Yaroslava, do you see the spirit? He's showing me that he fell asleep and slid into the water. He drowned.
That happened here, yes. He was sitting here and fell into the water while asleep.
No, but I see 3 other men.
People said it had happened here before.
About 5 years ago, a local man drowned there. He was 25 years old, and a boy also drowned. He dove and drowned.
Yes, many men die young here.
And I also see a girl from long ago. Such long, fair hair, very much like yours, bright blue eyes. She's dead, and she's here. But it seems more like a suicide.
I see water up to my knees and a coffin. A girl lies in the coffin, and they're carrying her.
That was the same vision I had this morning. A girl in a coffin, floating in a murky, swirling stream. So standing there, I expected the ground to crack beneath my feet. Just like in my dream. She didn't drown here. It seems she was driven out of her home. She couldn't go back. She had nowhere to go.
A girl named Vera lived here. She was a real beauty and had long, fair hair down to her waist. She had a mother, but they didn't get along, and so she went and drowned herself.
The girl was missing for several days. During that time, heavy rain poured down, with a month's worth of precipitation falling in a single week. The village was knee-deep in water.
I remember her funeral. There was water everywhere.
But what does the girl who committed suicide have to do with the deaths of Sasha and the other young men?
She's like a guarding spirit of this place, and she takes them. By the way, pay attention that they were all single. Young men drown every few years because the girl's spirit collects fiancés, and they drown around the same time she died. 3 of the other boys drowned in June, but Sasha drowned in May. Something doesn't add up here. The thing is that your fiancé has nothing to do with this all. He was drawn in. He's tied to death. I think we need to go back to your home and figure out what's going on there.
I hate this pond. It deprived me of everything I care about.
Unexpectedly, the psychics ask the driver to stop the van. They get out a few hundred meters from Tetiana's house.
I feel drawn over here. It's a completely dead crossroads. There are dead people here. There and there are the dead. We're walking on a road where the dead walk. There's the same fog as in your yard. Over here, on this side, I see 2 dead people. A man and a woman. Their bones are broken.
A man and a woman died in a car crash on this spot.
They stand in this black fog, and for some reason, they are drawn to your house.
They seem to be from long ago, about 20 years dead. So, Sasha can't be connected to their death. He was very young then. But the spirits are somehow drawn to the yard where he lived.
There's a black mass coming from over there. And there's a cross hanging here.
Who's standing there?
A burnt man.
A man burned here long ago. In the house.
I see a headless woman.
There was a woman who worked as an agronomist. A driver didn't see her and backed up. The truck ran over her head and crushed it.
All the spirits we saw on the road were highly unusual.
It's as if, after death, their souls didn't go to heaven or even stay on earth, but somehow fell into the ground.
And it feels like they spent a long time underground before they re-emerged on earth again. There's some kind of portal here, and all these people who died unnatural deaths are in this black fog.
What portal is the psychic talking about? How did it appear in this village?
At first, I saw an ordinary road, an ordinary village. And then, the ground beneath. My feet started cracking. And I saw an ancient city. A dead city.
It turned out that archaeologists unearthed the largest Scythian city, Galonis, not far from this village. The city stretched across several nearby villages.
The city of Galonis is unique. It's 34 kilometers wide. Even Babylon pales in comparison to Galonis.
This is amazing. Right beneath the psychic's feet lies the largest ancient city in Europe.
In the 3rd century BC, the city began to decline until it eventually turned into an ordinary town, covered by a layer of earth.
Modern Ukrainians built their homes on top of the ancient Galonis. But why do the spirits of people who die now end up in the underground city?
Maybe they died on a full moon, when portals between worlds open. But I don't understand why the spirits came to the surface. We'd better go somewhere else.
I couldn't get it why all those spirits were going to the yard where Sasha lived. Were they threatening Tetiana's son and her?
We need to talk to Sasha, and they all came here, you know. Can you work in such conditions?
I can't.
And then it hit me. Today is a full moon, and the portals between the worlds are open again. And for the spirits, this is a real chance to be freed. We could help. We needed to perform a ritual. This is the corridor that all those souls took. I poured water on the road to guide them to where they should go. Dead man appeared immediately. It's your son's grandfather, Sasha's father.
Sasha was only 13 when his father died. The man had a stomach ulcer and bled to death.
There's a deep sadness for his son. As a relative, he should have protected his son in some way, but he couldn't. The dead souls started following your husband after his father's death. He was in deep grief, struggling with the fact that he lost his father.
The psychics decide to try again to contact Sasha's spirit.
He's here, and he's crying, and...
He says, I am so grateful to you for being in my life. But I should have also thanked the one who gave us this gift. I turned away from God.
It's my sin.
When his father died, he, struck by severe grief, lost faith in God. And as a result, there was no guardian angel to watch over him.
I finally understood what choked me when I entered the house. It was the devil's messenger who was near the man. As soon as Sasha renounced God, the The devil attached his messenger to him.
That's why his father's spirit couldn't protect him.
And this sin spread not only to you and him, but also to your child. Your son became a link between the energy of his dead father and living mother. The same force that threatened and eventually took her husband is threatening Tetiana.
You need to order prayer services for Sasha in 7 monasteries. And secondly, if your son becomes even too religious, you should support him instead of preventing it.
He wants to tell you something. Tetiana, you changed my life. You made me happy. Our son is part of me. I love you so much. Forgive me. And he's hugging you for the last time.
A chilling tragedy on the water. 2 young children, a teenager, and an adult man all drowned at the same time under mysterious circumstances. What or who pulled them into the beyond? Don't miss it. The psychics uncover a shocking truth. 29-year-old Ukrainian woman Victoria Shabinska has reached out to the psychics for help. In this footage, her 7-year-old son Dima dances with his 3-year-old sister Polina, singing joyfully. But just 2 months after this video was filmed, Dima would be gone. The Shabinsky family had planned a weekend getaway with friends, the Pivovarovs and the Panins. They were supposed to leave early Saturday morning.
It was meant to be just the 2 families, me, Victoria, Polina, and Dima, and Nastya with her husband Denise. They also had 2 kids, Sasha and the little one.
But Victoria's friends changed their plans and decided to head to the holiday base on Friday. The Shabinskys couldn't join them because they had a scheduled delivery of confectionery goods for their small business that evening. Therefore, they couldn't leave before Saturday.
I spoke with Nastya and said, "All right, then let Dima go with you, so Sasha doesn't get bored." Sasha is 6, Dima is 7. They were always excited to play together.
Now, almost every day, Victoria blames herself for letting her son go on that trip.
If my son hadn't gone, nothing would have happened to him.
As planned, the Shabinsky family headed to the resort that Saturday.
That same weekend, Anatoly Kriplovets, Nastya Pivovarova's father and little Sasha's grandfather, also arrived at the resort. The Panin family had already gotten there. Mother Tetiana, father Serhiy, their older daughter Anastasia, and 16-year-old son Oleksiy.
Around noon, grandfather Anatoly Kriplovets decided to take Sasha and his friends, Dima and Oleksiy, out for a boat ride. He'd done this many times before.
The man was a master of sport in kayaking. He knew this river well. According to his family and friends, Anatoly had been out on the water many times.
But that boat trip on that tragic day turned into a nightmare.
My child left and never came back. I don't even know how to talk about it.
On June 22nd, at around 1 p.m., the boat capsized. As a result, 4 people fell into the water and drowned.
Then we got the call. Dima and Sasha are gone. Victoria looked at me and collapsed.
4 people died. 2 young boys, 7-year-old Dima and 6-year-old Sasha, Sasha's grandfather, 64-year-old Anatoly Kriplovets, and 16-year-old Oleksiy Panin.
There's a dam on the river. The boat the victims were on was found caught beneath it.
The dam is located about 1 kilometer from the thermal power plant. It maintains the necessary water level in the river for the plant's operation.
2 powerful river currents collide at this spot, creating a dangerous whirlpool beneath the surface.
The 16-year-old boy was found first. The underwater current had thrown his body onto the shore. The search for the other 3, the elderly man and 2 children, lasted nearly a full day. But on the 23rd, the bodies were recovered.
Locals and visitors alike know it's dangerous to swim near the dam. Warning signs are posted on the riverbanks within an 80-meter radius of the dam.
The resort is located about 3 kilometers from the dam. How and why the boat ended up there remains unclear. No one saw which direction it was headed. Could Anatoly Kriplovets have intentionally steered the boat into the deadly vortex? But why?
The victims were in the boat around 12 noon. What happened after Anatoly Kriplovets got in the boat with the boys, no one knows.
No one can believe that a trained kayaker could have ignored basic safety rules. Anatoly, like all locals and vacationers, knew perfectly well that going near the dam was a deadly risk. The families of the victims still can't understand how this could have happened. Why did the boat end up in that whirlpool?
This case caused a media frenzy in the local press. People in town were saying that the man's carelessness cost the children their lives.
But Victoria can't believe that the man could have let the children, or himself, die, whether by accident or negligence. And no one, not even law enforcement, can't explain to this grieving mother what really happened on that river that tragic day. The Shabinsky family decided to turn to the psychics for help.
Maybe there's a way to reconstruct what really happened.
Project expert Serhiy Kolesnichenko takes on the case.
Strange. I see a man in the water. He's the one grabbing the boy.
To get to the bottom of this tragedy, Serhiy Kolesnichenko calls in clairvoyant Ilona Kaldra for help.
It's a photo of a little boy, right? The vision that appears is of a castle. And there's a young man standing there. He speaks of another death. He will be next.
Could someone else be in danger? And who is the man in the castle the clairvoyant is seeing? The psychics arrive at the home where the Shabinsky family lives. They're met by the grieving mother, father, and the little sister of the deceased boy, as well as close relatives and friends.
Hello?
Hello. We've been waiting for you so much.
Please accept our condolences.
The moment we approached Dima's parents, I saw the image again. A man grabbing the boy.
This is where we all live together. We never felt cramped here.
When their daughter Polina was born, the couple began saving for a bigger place. But after Dima's death, they lost all meaning in life.
This was made by the boy's hands. His favorite toy, a dinosaur.
He loved learning about dinosaurs.
Little Dima was incredibly bright for his age. At school, he was top of his class. He loved reading and was always curious.
Tell me, what's this?
Coral!
He loved collecting minerals. We were planning to complete a whole collection, but we never finished it.
Polina always listened with fascination to her brother's stories about minerals from around the world. Dima knew so much about them.
Dima did not die alone.
3 deaths, almost simultaneously. I feel that he fought to survive until the very end.
Yes.
That day, not far from where the boat capsized, a group of 3 people were out relaxing. They heard screams and a child crying. When they ran toward the noise, they saw a little boy in the boat. They threw him a rope to try and save him, but he couldn't grab it. The boat was rocking violently, and the child fell into the water.
It's strange. No one saw how the boat ended up under the dam, caught in the whirlpool. People only noticed something was wrong when only Dima was left in the boat.
What's this? Like glass.
Something about the size of a dove, something bright, hit the window.
Unbelievable, but it really was a dove. It struck the window pane. Victoria says nothing like that had ever happened in their home.
There's something mystical involved in this case, a kind of fate.
Could it be he's sending me a sign?
Before this happened to your son, did you receive any signs?
3 weeks before, he told me he drowned. I said, but they pulled you out, right? He said, yeah, some guys like divers.
To connect more deeply with the boy, Ilona and I decided to go to the playground where Victoria's son spent so much of his time.
The playground is about 200 meters from the house.
Can I see your hands again? You're not his biological father, are you?
That's right.
The child's father didn't live with you.
Was he taking anything? Is that why you broke up?
It was alcohol.
Dima's biological father, Andriy, left the family when the boy was just a year old. A year later, in a crowded clothing market, Victoria spotted Serhiy, her future husband, selling clothes.
We met and that was it. We never parted again.
Just a year later, the couple got married, and the following year, their daughter Polina was born. Serhiy became a true father to Dima, always calling him my little son, and Dima called him Daddy. Like his birth mother, the stepfather is tormented by guilt for letting the boy go alone that day.
I sensed that someone in the crowd was giving off a very unusual energy. Ilona and I noticed a woman holding a toy in her hands.
Let me see that sweet toy. A girl. Is it hers? Was it a gift from your son? What's her name? Katya?
The woman's name is Tetiana. As it turned out, the toy she was holding had been a gift from Dima to her daughter Katya, 2 months before the tragedy.
I loved him very much. We dreamed of growing up fast and getting married. When Dima died, I couldn't bear it. I cried so much. I wanted to know how it happened.
I sensed that somewhere nearby, there was another woman whose grief was just as deep.
You lost your son too?
Yes.
Your name is Nastya, right?
Were you with the children that day?
Do you in some way feel responsible for what happened?
The child was with me. I was responsible for him.
Victoria had a hard time convincing Nastya to meet with the psychics. The woman eventually came because that fateful boat trip took from her her only son, 6-year-old Sasha. And to this day, the mother can't understand how such a thing could have happened.
The adult man was your father, am I right?
Yes.
Many people wonder why it happened. There was an adult in the boat. He's the one being blamed.
Please tell them not to film. I don't want this.
After what she heard, Nastya refuses to speak with the psychics on camera. She's afraid of hearing accusations that it was her father, whom she also deeply loved, who was to blame for what happened. After all, nearly every second person blames him for the tragedy.
There was another boy in that ill-fated boat, older than the others, a teenager. At that moment, I had a vision of him.
Who is this boy? The name starts with an O. Who is he?
Alexei.
I'd like to meet his parents.
If you don't mind, could we go to the cemetery and try to speak with your son?
The Panins live on the other side of the city. 16-year-old Alexei was the youngest in the family. He has an older sister, Nastya, who is 21. The tragedy has united these families in grief. They are all searching for the truth. Victoria called the boys' relatives to let them know that Ilona Kaldre would be visiting. Meanwhile, Serhiy Kolesnichenko is heading to the cemetery, to Dima's grave. It turns out that all the victims of that tragedy were buried next to each other.
These are all our children.
As soon as I tried to speak with Dima's spirit to understand what happened that day, the spirit of the dead man appeared instead. He was crying uncontrollably. He feels truly guilty. It's as if he's gripping something in his hands, suddenly pulling a lever. The speed increases.
A motorboat with manual control operates like a motorcycle. A lever on the motor controls its speed. If the man accelerated toward the dam at high speed, the boat could have easily been pulled into the whirlpool.
Something's off here, because his grandson was in the boat. His mind was all scrambled, a kind of mental fog, a haze before his eyes.
The man who died was a former pilot. He was always in control of everything around him. So what happened that day? How and why did the boat end up in the whirlpool beneath the dam?
I sense the presence of a fifth person.
Who does the clairvoyant see? There were only 4 people in the boat. Who is this fifth?
boy's stroking your hair now and saying, Mamusik, he's speaking to you. Everything's fine.
As it turns out, that's exactly how Dima always addressed his mother.
It feels like a big family. They're all together like in one house. Grandchildren, grandfather.
Meanwhile, Ilona Kaldra has arrived at the Panins.
Hello?
Hello. We're glad to see you. Please come in.
Oleksiy's whole family is at home. The boy's parents still can't believe that their longtime acquaintance Anatoly could have killed the children.
Yes, I really want to know the circumstances of my son's death.
I'm trying to tune in. Were you also at the river?
Yes, we were all there together.
Oleksiy's mother and father had known Anatoly Kriplovets for 5 years.
We trusted him as we would ourselves. Why did they end up in that spot specifically?
The day before the tragedy, the man had been boating on that very river, and no one could have imagined that a day later, the boat would end up in a whirlpool, and Oleksiy would be among the dead.
He was our pride. We love him. He was my rock. He was our sunshine. If only we could bring Oleksiy back.
Inside, it's just empty. I miss his hug so much.
Why did the glass shatter?
A couple of days before it happened, I stepped out onto the balcony, and 4 birds flew up and started banging against the window. There were 2 big birds and 2 small ones, just like 2 adults and 2 children, and the glass simply cracked.
Goosebumps. The late Dima had a strange dream where he drowned, and today, during the investigation, a dove nearly crashed into the window of their house. Shortly before the tragedy, birds also tried to fly into Oleksiy's apartment, and there were 4 of them, exactly as many as the number of people died in the boat. What does it all mean?
Now I'll go to the river and try to reconstruct what happened.
We'll go with you.
Meanwhile, Serhiy Kolesnichenko is nearly finished with his ritual at the cemetery. He too is heading to the site of the tragedy.
As we were walking across the bridge, I again saw the image of a man in the water, as if he grabs the boy and pulls him under.
The whirlpool is terrifying in its power, so how did the boat end up here?
This wasn't the first death here. It feels like there were 2 other people dead. Again, a boat. Men were fishing. It's as if something grabs them and starts pulling them out one by one.
That incident really did happen. 5 years ago, 2 men were fishing nearby. Suddenly, their boat capsized. Their bodies were found a few days later.
There's another person, a very good swimmer, maybe about a year ago.
He drowned. He was a lifeguard.
The man knew this river like the back of his hand. He was a trained rescuer and knew how to handle himself in the water.
A girl, again, a similar situation. The boat flipped over.
Locals say that 20 years ago, a couple in love were out boating. The boat capsized and the girl fell into the water. She drowned almost instantly.
So many deaths.
Around 30 people.
Within a 100-meter radius on this section of the river, many people have indeed died under mysterious circumstances over the years.
34 people, including our children.
At that moment, I saw the spirit of a young guy walking on the bridge. He pointed toward the river as if to show me where he died. He jumped from the bridge. You see, the souls of those who take their own lives are bound to the place where they died. His was the first death here, about 50 years ago.
Local residents recall that around 50 years ago, a young man jumped from this very bridge. He was only 23.
An orphan, I felt a strong sense of family loss.
His parents died in a car crash when he was just 5 years old. He was raised by his grandmother. She passed away when he turned 18. After that, he was left all alone and felt lonely.
The spirit now sees your loved ones as his own family. He gathers them one by one.
So he took our children?
I see a vision, a castle, and a boy calling out saying, "You're next."
He fulfilled his dream in the afterlife. He built a grand castle and draws in those who come to the place where he died. They are like one big family. Grandchildren, grandfather.
It sounds unbelievable, but Victoria recalled that a month after the tragedy, Dima's little sister, Polina, had a dream. Her brother appeared and said he now had new parents and that they all lived together in a golden castle.
Dima has a little house in the sky. He's there with Sasha, Grandpa, and also with Alexei.
It's chilling. But how did the boat controlled by Anatoly end up there? Why couldn't an adult man prevent the tragedy?
The man's condition. He had problems with blood pressure, possibly heat stroke.
It was very hot that day.
It feels like he started to lose consciousness, like a mini stroke. The boat began to gain speed, a spasm. His hand clenched, and the boat sped up rapidly.
If the man suffered heat stroke and lost consciousness, he could have fallen on the throttle, causing the boat to accelerate uncontrollably and be drawn into the whirlpool.
It's horrifying. So the man simply fell ill, lost consciousness, and collapsed onto the motor lever? And that's why the boat raced straight into a deadly water vortex.
The spirit of that young man is still tied to this place, and he might claim someone else. One should avoid that stretch of the river.
The only advice we can give is, for those watching us and those who live nearby, avoid this place. No boat tours should come here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We learned what we wanted to know. We're grateful to the psychics.
We can't bring back Dima, Sasha, or Alexei, but many people will draw important conclusions from this.
A ghostly killer, an unknown force, is trying to drag a young woman from France into the afterlife. Can the psychics stop it? Don't miss out. A shocking revelation about a series of mysterious child deaths. Welcome to Psychic Investigations. Seeking help from psychics is Alla Pansart, a Ukrainian woman living in France. She has traveled to Ukraine out of deep concern for her 20-year-old daughter, Irina.
I'm terrified for her life.
All is convinced death is hunting her daughter. Something strange keeps happening to Irina. Each time after she returns from visiting her grandmother in Ukraine.
When she came back, after visiting her grandmother, she had an accident.
Irina still doesn't understand what happened. Out of nowhere, a massive truck appeared, heading straight for her. She barely avoided a collision, but her car overturned and crashed into a ditch. Irina suffered a back injury. Her mother was horrified, as this wasn't the first time. The other year, after another trip to Ukraine, her daughter had yet another accident.
Again, as soon as she returned, another incident occurred. She was driving in a different car, and once more a truck appeared, forcing her off the road.
Alla and her daughter moved to France when Irina was 12. The first time Irina visited her grandmother was 2 years later, and right after returning, she fell off a scooter.
She wore a cast, and she had pierced her stomach.
Irina fell onto a metal rod, severely injuring her abdomen. Alla recalls her daughter telling her she had been pushed, though there was no one around.
She said something shoved her from behind, and she fell.
At the time, Alla dismissed her daughter's words as childish imagination. But every year, the accidents kept happening. Car crashes, fractures, dislocations, pneumonia. Then, one day, right after returning from Ukraine, her beloved dog suddenly attacked her.
The dog had never bitten anyone, but he suddenly got aggressive and bit her arm.
The dog had lived with the family for 5 years and had never shown aggression. Alla says he acted as if he saw a stranger. At that very moment, she felt she saw a shadowy figure standing next to Irina. Incredibly, Irina's grandmother has also seen a strange silhouette near her granddaughter.
Maybe it's a phantom. Mom says it's a shadowy figure.
Alla decided this summer her daughter wouldn't visit Ukraine. Instead, she came to meet the psychics herself.
I can't live without my daughter. I'm begging the psychics to help.
Psychic Jake Ryder and clairvoyant Hala Polishchuk will attempt to find out what is happening to Irina. They are just 200 meters away from the house where Irina's grandmother lives and where Alla's mother is waiting for them. But suddenly, Jake Ryder begins experiencing something very strange.
I can't breathe. Stop, please.
Do you need water?
No. I just can't breathe. Like something is choking me.
Take a moment.
Wait, Hala, do you see that? A spirit of a little boy. He ran that way.
Who is Jake Ryder talking about? There's no one else around. Could this spirit be connected to what's happening to Allah's daughter?
Are you any better?
A little. We need to keep going.
Shall we walk?
Yes.
Allah is 44 years old. She was born in Ukraine, and so was her daughter. But Irina's father abandoned the family when she was still very young. Allah met her current husband thanks to a friend.
A friend of mine. She's been married in France for 15 years. Her mother still lives here. One day she came back and said, "Take a photo."
Allah sent her photo to her friend's husband's acquaintance. His name is Jean-Claude. They started chatting online, and within a few months, he arrived in Ukraine to meet her.
I traveled to meet him in Kyiv at the airport, and he recognized me first.
Now, the family lives in a beautiful two-story house in Hennebon, a small town in northwestern France. Just 300 meters from the home is Jean-Claude's farm.
He's a farmer. He raises cattle, a large enterprise.
By education, Allah is a primary school teacher. In France, she works as an educator at a private kindergarten. Her daughter, Irina, completed her studies and obtained a profession that is quite unusual for a woman, an auto mechanic.
She has big plans to open a body shop, to be a boss. She's now studying accounting and business management to learn how to run the business properly.
But her mother fears that her daughter's dreams may never come true.
She's my only child. She's everything to me.
At the gate, waiting for the psychics, are Allah and Irina's grandmother, Tamara.
Hello.
Hello? This is my mother, Tamara. I have a daughter. She's 21. Something keeps happening to her, and she's always close to... I'm afraid to lose her.
We'll do our best.
I have a strange feeling, like something just passed behind me. I felt the cold.
I need to tune in to your daughter. May I have her photo, please?
Let me bring it.
I'd like to tune in through you. Please relax your hand.
When I look at your daughter's photo, I feel that you're deeply worried about envy from others. And perhaps because of this, your daughter is in danger.
You constantly carry this anxiety. People assume that because you have a house in France, where you live with your husband and daughter, everything is wonderful. Sometimes it breeds jealousy. Have you ever found any charms placed near your home? I had a strange vision. A handmade doll lying on the ground, and not just anywhere. Near the yard we were just in. That doll looked like a charm.
We stepped outside and found bundles of grass tied together with a rope made of grass. What's going on? Why is my daughter's life constantly in danger?
It's unbelievable. Did someone really plant a charm on Allah's home to make her daughters suffer?
Can you describe what it looked like?
It was a bundle of grass. About this size. A lot of fresh green grass, tightly wrapped. Around the perimeter, it was woven like a braid.
I feel that the object you found had no magical influence.
You know, it seems to be just a toy. Kids running around, dropping things.
Yes, children go to the river nearby.
Exactly. They were playing near the river, making something.
Yes, young boys. I saw them twisting grass, running with it in their hands, and one of them dropped it. It's a coincidence, not a charm.
Ala recalled that when she found the grass doll near her yard, neighboring children were indeed playing nearby.
The presence I felt when I entered Allah's yard, at first I thought it came from the charm, but now I realize that's not the case. This is connected to the land itself. Jake felt unwell on our way here. The energy here is very negative. We need to tune in and see.
Every time she visits Ukraine for the summer, something happens right after she returns.
As soon as I tuned into the girl's energy, I felt someone standing next to me. It was a phantom. Wait, who is that?
Like a small boy, behind the boy over there. He's standing there looking curious.
He's waving at us like he's calling us. He wants us to follow him.
What's going on? Who do the psychics see? They step outside the gates, where a crowd of the neighbors has gathered. But where are Jake Ryder and Hala Polishchuk heading?
I'm tuning in. He's stepping forward. Jake, let's go. I feel it in my solar plexus.
Oh.
Something happened here. Someone died. Drowned, suffocated. Do you feel it, Jake?
A child seems to be drowning, but I don't see any water.
It's an impact. His lungs burst. It's blood, not water.
It looks like the boy fell and suffocated.
Indeed, the boy fell, and that was it.
Today, a family with 2 children lives in this house. But the locals remember that years ago, the previous owners lost their son under mysterious circumstances. The boy fell from his crib, but the exact cause of death was never determined.
A spirit has just appeared. Quick, quick! It's a girl.
A girl. A young woman is peeking out from over there. She's pulling at her hair, consumed by guilt. Oh my God, she's holding a baby and it's suffocating. She's shaking the baby, but he's not breathing. So little. Why? Oh no. She hanged herself. She couldn't bear the grief.
The locals confirm it really happened on their street. A young woman was found hanged in her home, and beside her, on the sofa, lay the lifeless body of her son, who suffocated in his sleep.
I suddenly realized the woman chose to die, but her son was taken by something else.
But how do all these deaths relate to Allah's daughter?
I see the spirit of another boy. He couldn't breathe. He died.
A young family once moved into this house. They had a newborn baby, and he died too.
The woman the psychics are referring to now lives on the other side of town. She refused to speak on camera, but in private conversation, she blamed the street for her child's death.
I don't even understand what happens on that street. I gave birth to my son, but he died. He lived 3 hours and choked on his own blood. I never go back there.
The land is taking the children.
But why? What is this? Wait. I see another child spirit.
Jake, I feel pulled toward it too.
Anybody home?
Uncle Volodymyr.
Hello, my name is Jake Ryder. I'm a psychic, and this is my colleague, Hala Polishchuk. We need your help. I saw the spirit of a young girl who ran into your yard. Now I understand she's your granddaughter. Did she pass away?
She was sick and had surgery.
Something went wrong, didn't it? I sense her struggling to breathe.
Her spine compressed, crushing her chest.
The grandparents don't know what kind of surgery was performed. Their granddaughter lived in another country and visited once every 2 years. But then, one year, as they waited for her visit, her parents informed them she'd passed away. It's incomprehensible. Could the same fate await Irina, who visits her grandmother every year?
We must understand what's happening. Children are in grave danger here.
As soon as we entered your street in the morning, I felt unwell. I couldn't breathe, and every child who's died on this street also suffocated. It can't be a coincidence.
But what is this strange pattern? And how does it relate to what's happening to Alla's daughter?
I see that your daughter also suffers. Sometimes she struggles to breathe, just like the girl who lived here.
My daughter coughs. She has allergic asthma. There's something here.
There's a shadow standing next to your daughter. It's death. She's in danger, and so is every other child on this street. I don't yet understand what this force is, but I want to help.
This is chilling. Almost every house on this street has lost a child. Could Allah's daughter be next? But why? After all, being 21, Irina isn't a child anymore.
It feels like a strange phantom is constantly lurking near her. It's pulling her into the other side, but it's struggling because Irina doesn't live here. That's why she's still alive. But every time she visits, she suffers energetic attacks.
But what is the phantom stalking Irina? And why does it threaten her life?
We were at a dead end. We needed to call upon the spirits of the children who had died on this street to help us understand what was going on.
To perform the ritual, the psychics waited until nightfall. The locals eagerly await the psychic's verdict. They fear for their children's lives and want answers about why so many children die on this tiny street.
Jake, light the candles. I will reach out through this mirror. The unrested souls, come to our circle. Come forward and reveal yourselves. All the spirits of the deceased children and all others who perished here, I call upon you.
Wait, I feel the phantom again. I'm struggling to breathe. The little boy, the same one from this morning, he's running over there. We must follow him.
Let's go.
I've seen him before. He wants to say something. But as we approached, his spirit vanished. Then I turned around and saw him standing beside a woman. Come closer, please. Good evening. The boy's spirit brought me to you. Is he your son? Did he pass away? He's showing me a lot of water. That's why I couldn't breathe when I first saw him today. He drowned.
This woman is 62. She has lived on this street for over 50 years, and tragedy struck her home as well. Her young son, Serhiy, drowned.
He has been gone for 40 years, but time doesn't heal. A mother's heart never forgets. The pain of loss never fades.
I see the day he died. He was playing near the river, but something went wrong. I see many children around him, and they pushed him into the water.
It was a game. They were laughing and playing near the river. And then a push.
He was 8 years old. It was a summer break after his first year at school. Just a week into the vacations, and he drowned. The kids from our street pushed him into the whirlpool. Many people were at the river, and one man pulled him out, but he was already gone.
The locals believe the children didn't intend for the boy to drown. They were just playing, but he never resurfaced.
He says, "I want to be like my father."
He didn't know how to swim, but his father did.
He tried to grab onto something, but his lungs were already filling with water. His heartbeat slowed, and then he died.
When they buried him, his tiny fists were clenched. He tried to hold on, but he couldn't swim. That's why it happened.
Every child on this street dies from breathing problems. Wait, this phantom who has been following us all day, it is your son's spirit. I finally get it. His ghost is the one taking the children on the street into the afterlife. On the day he died, he went to the river alone, without adults. He was overjoyed. Death took him at the happiest moment of his life, and so he remained in that moment forever. Now he takes other children with him to play. He doesn't want his best day to ever end.
We must ask Serhi for forgiveness, because when he needed help, the other children laughed and joked but never saved him.
Both adults and children joined together. A circle symbolizes unity. Tragedy united them, and only together can they help themselves and one another.
All those who were involved or not involved or simply live on this street, we must ask Serhi for forgiveness. We ask for forgiveness and release you. Go to God. Go to your rightful place. May it be so.
For about 15 minutes, Hala Polishchuk, Jake Ryder, and the residents of the street stood in complete silence, holding candles. Then, rain began out of a sudden despite weather forecasts predicting clear skies.
Rain is a symbol of cleansing.
As soon as we finished the ritual, the rain began.
This is your son giving us a sign. He has gone to God.
I will take these candles and place them for him. Thank you.
Now your daughter will be safe. Just buy a large stuffed toy, place it on Serhi's grave and say, "This is for you, Serhi, to play with." Then turn and walk away.
I'm certain we're finally past it, and we can finally feel peace about our children. Thank you. It feels like a weight has been lifted from my soul. I feel joy inside and a new certainty that everything will be all right for my daughter. Thank you so much.
The mysterious death of a young athlete. Is it suicide or murder? And what horrifying secret are the victim's relatives hiding? Don't miss the shocking investigation by the clairvoyants. This 24-year-old man's name was Vadim Voronin. By profession, he was an economist, but he was into sports, workout, weightlifting, and arm wrestling. This video was filmed 6 months before Vadim passed away. He left home and never returned.
He left saying he'd be back an hour or two tops.
The young man's body was found on the outskirts of the city 4 days later, in an abandoned quarry.
The body was neck deep in water, face up. According to the forensics, the cause of death was asphyxia due to drowning.
He was 30 to 40 centimeters deep in water.
A criminal case was opened regarding Vadim's death. According to the victim's parents, the police investigators assure them it was suicide.
However, neither the family nor locals believe this version.
He couldn't have taken his own life. He just loved life so much.
My son couldn't have committed suicide. I will never believe it. He had so many plans. No one believes this.
The family is convinced Vadim was murdered, as they saw injuries and bruises on his body.
Judging by the number of bruises and hematomas found on him later, it's apparent there was a fight.
There was a wound down to the bone on his right arm. His legs from the top to the knees were covered in hematomas. He had more than 10 bruises on his legs, and there was something like a bruise or some kind of mark on his right side.
Only violent death. It couldn't have been anything else.
I think he was thrown down there after a fight.
According to the victim's parents, the police detectives claim there is no evidence, including characteristic bodily injuries, indicating that Vadim was murdered.
Vadim's parents say their only hope to find the truth about their son's death is to ask the psychics for help. Clairvoyants Ilona Kaldra and Olga Kalinova take on the case.
I feel that this is definitely not suicide. I sense someone pushed the man into the hands of death. I have the feeling that he was destined to die tragically.
I had a strange dream. If man I didn't know was holding an ancient book in his left hand and a dagger in his right hand. Then he started shredding the book with the dagger. And it wasn't an ordinary book. It was the so-called book of his life. The man was trying to destroy his past in this way. When I tried to stop him, he handed me the book, and it started burning right in my hands.
I'm looking at this photo and see the image of a man who decides the fates of others, matters of life and death. He's holding lilies in his hands. And I think the lilies are the key to today's investigation. Hello?
Hello. We've been waiting for you.
Please come in.
Vadim lived his entire life here. Now Ilona Kaldra is in his room. What will she sense?
I see your son sitting here and reading something. He was finishing his studies.
6 months before his death, Vadim received his degree in economics and started looking for a job in the field. Meanwhile, he worked in construction with his father and older brother.
Vadim was looking for a job, going to interviews.
I spent 23 years raising my son and teaching him. He was already a skilled specialist in construction and worked with me.
I see the place where your son's body was found. I see water.
It's not a lake or a river, but I see reeds growing around it.
It's basically a huge puddle, 5 or 6 meters in diameter, and dry reeds grow all around the shore.
His body was half in the water.
They claim it was suicide right away.
Definitely it wasn't suicide. There must be some reason for what happened. It took quite a while to find him. 4 days.
When Vadim disappeared, they first searched among friends and acquaintances. Then almost the entire city was mobilized. The police only accepted the missing person report on the 3rd day.
We and our neighbors and his friends searched the fields, neighboring villages and towns, hospitals and police stations.
We searched for him in wastelands, fields, and the woods.
No one could have imagined that Vadim's body had been in the abandoned quarry on the outskirts of the city the entire time. According to the forensics, the death occurred on the same day Vadim disappeared.
No one goes there. It's a deserted place, and
I'm having a strange vision. He carries someone in his arms and that person's back is injured. They discuss money, saying it can help. What is this?
It's about our neighbor. He got injured. There's a river nearby, and he dove and broke his cervical vertebra.
Local teenagers were swimming in the river and jumping from a rope swing. For one of them, 14-year-old Mikola, this pastime almost ended in death. Vadim helped save him.
Vadim went with his mother, helping carry him into the ambulance, supporting his back. The boy was completely paralyzed.
Doctors predicted that Mikola would remain disabled. Only a highly complicated surgery could save him.
The surgery was too costly for us. We didn't have such a sum, but Vadim helped all the time, in any way he could.
Vadim went to stores where he placed donation boxes with photos to collect the necessary amount for the surgery.
He visited me every day. He supported and helped me. He brought me sports equipment and told which exercises I needed to do.
Vadim saved Mikola, who is now all well and finishing school, while his rescuer died so suddenly and mysteriously. So, What happened to him on the last day of his life?
It's as if he's fulfilling some mission. If not me, then who?
Now I see an image of a man.
A clear image of a man's hand. A man's hand holding a phone.
This is your son's phone.
A man found it.
On the fourth day after Vadim Voronin's disappearance, a local man found a mobile phone at the abandoned quarry. The man showed where he found the phone. Vadim's cap was also there. His body was 10 meters away.
I didn't see him. I found the phone, picked it up, and walked away.
Vadim's body lay in the water. Tall reeds and dense grass obstructed visibility. Additionally, the body was not within direct sight of where his cap and phone were located.
The man didn't kill him. He simply found his phone.
Let me try to tune in to the day you last saw him alive.
It's freezing, it's snowing and raining. Oh, it's some kind of holiday.
It was March 8th, the Women's Day.
Your son left home in a cheerful mood. He was going to visit a woman. He had flowers in his hands. It seems he was going to see his girlfriend.
As it turned out, Vadim went to greet his girlfriend, Anna, on the Women's Day. They had been together for more than 3 years. After that, no one saw him alive again.
Vadim often visited Anna's house, and she visited his. Yet neither she nor her parents attended Vadim's funeral for some reason.
There were many people at the funeral, but neither she nor her parents came.
Vadim's mother shared that a few months ago, she had a strange dream in which she saw her son and his girlfriend.
He appeared to me in the dream, coming into the yard while the girl sat in my kitchen. He came in and I said, "Vadim, we buried you." And he replied, "I was hit hard on the head and I lost my memory. But now I've come to my senses." And then he pointed at the girl saying, "What's she doing here?" Though he had never spoken rudely to her, in the dream she started justifying herself.
But what does all this mean? Could Vadim's girlfriend somehow be involved in his death?
Ilona, I want to go to Vadim's grave to speak to his spirit. I feel his energy in these flowers. He planted and grew them himself. He loved them very much.
These are lilies. He knew every name in Latin. There are plenty of varieties and he knew them all by heart. He knew how to care for them.
Now his mother brings these flowers to his grave.
We have more than 100 types of lilies, all planted by his hands. Every morning, he would go out to see which lily had bloomed.
I feel these flowers are somehow connected to your son's death. Perhaps lilies have accompanied him from past lives. Let's go to the cemetery.
Olga Kalinova goes to the cemetery with Vadim's father. Ilona Kaldra goes with his mother to see his girlfriend.
The girl knows something. Hello? This is Psychic Investigations. It's about Tatiana's son. We would like to speak with Anna.
This is Anna's father. He was away on a business trip on the day of Vadim's death.
What happened?
Your daughter was the last person who saw him that day. Naturally, questions arise.
My daughter isn't here. She lives in the city now. She moved out in June.
I feel she somehow feels guilty.
They broke up quite amicably.
It turns out that Vadim and Anna broke up a month before the tragedy. And there were reasons for this.
They meet while traveling, right?
Both of them used to commute on the same train for their studies.
He brought her home and introduced her to us. Vadim always treated her well.
They even went to the sea together for vacations. She was always at their house, basically. It was probably true love.
Could the girl Vadim loved and dreamed of marrying be involved in his death?
Could there have been unfaithfulness? There's a rival. Vadim saw his rival. He arrived in a car. I see a confrontation between Vadim and the man.
Once he came to Anna's and accidentally saw her come out of the house and get into this man's car. That's when there was a conflict between them. There are witnesses.
A week and a half before his death, Vadim caught Anna with her new acquaintance near her yard. A conflict occurred that escalated into a scuffle, after which the other man got into his car and drove away.
It was then that the girl said she no longer wanted to have a relationship with Vadim.
The police checked Anna's new acquaintance for possible involvement in the murder. The man has an alibi. At the time of Vadim's disappearance, and until his body was found, he was in another city.
I even sense from the mother that she blames Anna, but Anna is not involved in Vadim's death.
The police also checked Vadim's ex-girlfriend. After Vadim congratulated her on March 8th and left, the young people communicated by phone calls and text messages for a few more hours. But after 2 p.m., Vadim stopped responding.
Anna was the first to raise the alarm. She called Vadim's brother and initiated the search. Her possible involvement in his murder was not established.
Meanwhile, Olga Kalinova and Vadim's father arrive at the cemetery.
I'll try to establish a connection with your son's soul. I don't understand why, but it appears that your son was atoning for a sin, his own sin. But I don't see him doing anything bad in his life. On the contrary, he was very kind and compassionate.
Yes, that's true. He helped everyone he could.
I see an image of a man. He's dark, and he seems to be calling your son to the quarry. We need to go to the place where he died.
Ilona Kaldre also decided to head to the place of the tragedy. Suddenly, Anna's mother comes out of the house.
She knows everything about what happened.
What does all this mean? Could Tetiana know who killed her son? Suddenly, Anna's grandmother joins them.
Let your child rest in peace. How dare you? Why are you saying this?
Don't look for reasons here. Look over there.
Let's go, Serhiy.
I would have taken her to court a long time ago.
Who? Vadim's mother?
For all those things online, all the feuds, all the malice she's been spreading.
Since the beginning of the investigation, I'd had the impression that the parents were hiding something about their relationship with their son.
What's going on?
She won't admit her guilt. They often had conflicts.
In the family?
Because he had no job. He was 24 years old, but still unemployed and took money from them.
Vadim was quite an unusual person, almost as if he didn't belong to our century. He seemed to have a mission from past lives, which at that moment I didn't yet understand. His parents wanted him to be successful in his career, drive a luxurious car, and live well. But not everyone needs and wants this. They constantly pressured their youngest son, but he couldn't be someone else. He was delicate, almost like a girl. And this Vadim's passion for growing lilies was also not coincidental.
To understand what truly happened to Vadim and who's to blame for his death, the psychics go to the site where his body was found.
I keep feeling drawn over there.
The clairvoyants move toward the exact site where Vadim's body was found. They approach the hill where the local man found Vadim's phone. 10 meters away, his body lay in the water.
Ilona, he was right there.
Vadim was called here by some kind of mystical force. It's as if someone controlled him.
Your son came here on his own, but his mind was fogged. Now I understand. The fog was a dark, unclean force that surrounded Vadim and, under some kind of hypnosis, brought him here.
Could mysticism really be involved in Vadim's death?
I see images from your son's past life. I see another country. I think it's France. Your son is there. Beside him are some women who seem to have sinned in their lives. He takes something hot in his hands and places a mark that condemns the women to eternal shame, persecution, and torment. This mark resembles a lily.
He was an inquisitor.
Man I didn't know was holding an ancient book in his left hand and a dagger in his right hand. It was the so-called book of his life. And in this life, he was atoning for the sins of his past life.
How is this connected to his death?
After living a life as an inquisitor, committing many crimes and siding with evil, higher powers gave him a chance to atone for his sins in subsequent lives. However, unclean forces do not surrender captive souls so easily. In every life, they tried to tempt him so that he wouldn't cross to the side of good. If his life hadn't ended so abruptly, he would have overcome all trials and reached another level.
We never know who we were in past lives.
Does it mean that Vadim's death was the payment for his sins in the past? But how did he die? And who is involved in his death?
It happened very fast. The ground was slippery and he lost his balance, fell and rolled down into the water. And that was it.
But how could this have happened? He was an athlete. Why did Vadim fall? Why didn't he crawl out of the water? And why was his body so bruised?
Do you know how the devil tempted him? Your son almost didn't drink. But then he gave up and was desperate because you quarreled, right? You don't want to talk about it, but it's true.
We had a little argument. He raised his voice. I got upset. That had never happened before. I started crying.
He also quarreled with his girlfriend and, perhaps for the first time in his life, decided to relieve stress with alcohol. When you're drunk, your soul becomes defenseless, and unclean forces immediately try to take advantage.
He went to see his girlfriend and took a bottle of liqueur.
The gaze that pierced Vadim before his death, those were the eyes of Satan.
According to the forensics, Vadim Voronin's blood contained 2.5 per mila of alcohol. For someone who doesn't drink, such an amount of alcohol could provoke an inappropriate reaction to events, as well as impulsive and reckless actions.
The evil force brought him to this hill, and then everything happened rapidly. It was slippery here. He couldn't keep his footing and fell a few times.
That day, it was raining and snowing. The ground and grass on the hill Vadim climbed were wet and slippery. Most likely, he repeatedly fell to the ground, resulting in the bruises and abrasions found on his body.
And stop thinking that someone killed him. No one is to blame for his death.
The slope of the small hill where his body was found is quite steep. It's entirely possible that, after reaching the top, Vadim lost his balance again, fell backward with his head toward the water, and rolled down. He swallowed a lot of water and couldn't get out. Hence, Vadim's death occurred due to an accident.
Over several lifetimes, Vadim's soul was being purified, transitioning from an executioner to a victim. In this life, he became soft, kind, nurturing, almost like a woman. He had nearly atoned for his sins. But when he was so close, the devil tempted him. Higher forces will give him another chance. He will be reborn as a woman and will be born into your family through your older son.